So you may have seen my video on driving Teslas in the winter. That's maybe where you've come to know me, or you've been watching my channel before that. This channel is based on my experience, my personal experience driving a Tesla Model Y for over a year now, and having a Tesla Model 3 as well prior to that, which I just recently sold not that long ago. You can check that video out over here, and my experience dealing with clutch.ca. So I'm located in the Great White North of Canada, so my experience dealing with the winters is somewhat severe. Of course, it's more severe as you go further north. If you're going into Alberta, Saskatchewan, Winnipeg, all those different areas that are further north than here. But my experience is definitely helpful for those in the GTA as well as further down, as well as the people that live further north from me. So I've been getting some comments and hate on the last video saying the heat pumps are garbage, they fail, they go out from being used too much. Now, I have not experienced that in the couple years or the 2 winters that I've gone through with preheating and using it often. Of course, everything in life has a failure point at some point, and likely I'm going to have a heat pump fail at some point, but it isn't a common issue on Teslas. So I want to debunk that myth right now. Should last you a long time, and of course, if you're buying a brand new Tesla, you've got a long warranty period on these vehicles. You've got an 8-year warranty on the battery, and then a 5-year warranty on the rest of it, and up to 80,000 kilometers or 160,000 kilometers. So you've got a long warranty on the vehicle. So parts like that failing, I personally am not worried about, and I don't know anyone that has had their parts fail from a first-hand experience. I've only heard of some people having issues, but there's like a very small amount of people that I've heard have had issues with the heat pumps. Thank you to Yeslac for sponsoring today's video. As you may or may not know, the rim covers I have on my Model Y rear-wheel drive right now are from Yeslac. I love these rim covers. They've worked well. They hold on. They're easy to install. They're high quality, and they protect the entire outside of the rim. So I highly recommend that you check out Yeslac. Use the discount code for 25% off for a limited time only, and then it's back to a 20% discount. Right now, of course, it's Black Friday special, so jump on that opportunity if you can. And thanks again to Yeslac for sponsoring today's video. The other thing is range. People say the range in the winter is absolutely horrendous on Teslas. Now, the EPA estimated range is not as accurate as other brands, and that is definitely a fault that Tesla has. So going into your Tesla experience, knowing that the range that they say you're going to get is likely not going to be super accurate. Now, with the rim covers that I put on, it has become more accurate, especially during the summertime. But during the winter, I expect to have around 300 kilometers of range, where this car originally comes with close to 400 kilometers of range. Now, if you're purchasing a rear-wheel drive on the market now, they come with 525 kilometers of range. So expect it to be around 400 to 450 in the wintertime if you're charging it to that 100%. But with those models that are on the market right now, you only want to charge it to 80% on the regular. Now, of course, if you're doing a longer trip, it's totally fine to charge it up to 100%, but don't make that a practice unless you have an LFP battery. The best way to check your battery percentage, click on the car, then click on charging. And here you'll see it says charge limit 100% is what I have it set at. If you change it, it'll say recommended to charge to 100% fully once per week. If you have a non-LFP battery, it'll tell you to charge it to 80% on the regular, and to avoid charging it to 100% too often. That's how you can go about doing that to check what type of battery you have. If you're buying anything now in North America, you're just going to end up with a traditional battery as opposed to the LFP. So charging to 80% on the regular is recommended for your vehicle. If you're buying the performance, the dual motor, or the long range rear wheel drive version, they're all good buys. But if you want the longest range one, you're going to buy the rear wheel drive version, which some people say is terrible in the winter, and as you can see from my previous videos on the channel, you can also click on it here in the corner, but there's no issue with the rear wheel drive that I have had. Now, of course, there are situations where rear wheel drive is less convenient. You have to drive a little bit differently. You may not be able to see, but I live here on a hill, and driving up onto this road, they don't plow it right away after a snowstorm. So getting up the hill, I have to go in with a certain amount of speed to ensure that I'm not going to get stuck. So it's just adapting your driving style in order to accommodate and make sure that you are not going to get stuck. Of course, if you're driving into higher snowbanks and things like that, you can bottom out on the vehicle, which can happen in any vehicle you drive, and it can get stuck. This did happen to me once in the Tesla Model 3 rear-wheel drive, where I tried to do a turnaround in a hard-packed snow area, and my tires sank down into it, and I got stuck. Now, there's a video here on the channel of that experience as well, and how I got out, but needless to say, that was my own doing. It wasn't the car's fault. If I were just driving on regular roads, even in higher snow, I've had no issues. So don't let that scare you from driving a rear-wheel drive car in the winter. I had the huge reservation of that prior, as I went from all-wheel drive SUVs and four-wheel drive trucks into a rear-wheel drive Tesla Model 3 originally, and that was a huge adjustment in many ways, both in size, having rear-wheel drive, and all of that. Now, I do highly recommend that you get, what I use in the winter is Michelin X Ice tires. You can get them from many tire shops, but if you want to just order it online and have it on rims with everything included, the tire pressure monitor systems, and it all set up and balanced, you can order them from Tesloid.ca or Tesloid.com. Link in description. I do have a coupon code there at TIC10 for 10% off everything except for winter tires, unfortunately. There still may be a $100 off promotion for the winter tires, so you'll just have to check as you go on the site. But yes, winter tires, highly recommended. I was going to save and make an individual video just on my experience after 30,000 kilometers in the Tesla Model Y, but I'm at 29,250, so we may as well roll it into this video and give you guys a little bit more feedback on my overall experience over the last 1 year and 4 months of having this vehicle. So hopefully you guys can hear me and it's not too windy. But yes, I've owned this for 1 year and 4 months. It served our family well. We've gone to Florida with it 2 times, and of course many other road trips, and it has taken a bit of a beating on those trips. We still have the original tires, so no tire upgrades have been necessary. Other expenses on the vehicle, while there haven't been any, I haven't had to spend any money on the vehicle except for purchasing the vehicle and charging it. So in the last year, I have spent $833 on charging on the Tesla Model Y. A large portion of those expenses, though, are on supercharging, as we went down to Florida and back 2 times. So that was over 5,000 kilometers on those trips, and a lot of supercharging, which amounted to a lot in the charging costs. I don't have the exact breakdown of that. You can see here on the screen that it was quite a bit in supercharging, and the cost of that was a lot, because charging at home cost me 8 cents per kilowatt, and charging away was 30 to 50 cents per kilowatt. It's cheaper in the States than it is here in Canada for charging. Charging per kilowatt at superchargers is around 60 cents typically. Sometimes you can get it less, sometimes it's more, depending on the supercharger, the time of day, and how their whole pricing structure is at that supercharger. In the Greater Toronto area, though, it's definitely more pricey for supercharging. That's why I always highly recommend to charge at home or use some other form of charging that is not a supercharger that you can charge overnight nearby, maybe at a public charger that is not at V3 or V4 charging speeds. That's just a level 2 charger, and yeah, that's what I do at home. I charge on a level 2. I have the wall charger installed, just makes it more convenient. You can always use the mobile charger as well, and that is an option. I did say earlier I haven't spent money on the car, but that's not entirely true. I do have quite a few different upgrades, like the all-weather floor mats from Tesloid, the rims from Yeslac. I have cargo containers and this roof liner, and as well like little office things so that I can eat and work in the car comfortably, and those are from Jawa. So there's links in description to all those different products below, and if you want a video on accessories, you can click on the link in the top corner here of this video, and you can watch that video. But watch this full video first, then go back to this portion and watch that. I've driven Teslas now since 2022, and it's almost 2025, and I struggle thinking about leaving the Tesla brand and driving a different vehicle. Now, of course, the channel is called Teslas in Canada currently. Channel name might change as I want to diversify a little bit and compare other brands to Teslas and see where things line up. But for me, the convenience of the screen, the charging infrastructure, how everything's set up and so seamless, especially on road trips. I don't want to take any other vehicle for road trips. The Tesla just makes it so convenient, especially with its free autopilot, and the full self-driving, of course, that I'm using right now is life-changing. It makes the whole road tripping, longer trip experience so much easier and less taxing mentally on your drive. And yeah, I just have a lot of good things to say about Tesla, and I want to pick it apart a little bit and tell you some downsides, but I think the only real downside would be that the range is not exactly as estimated, and it's something to be aware of, but it hasn't caused me any issues. I've been able to just always get through my day and charge it at night. I've never had an issue where I'm almost out of battery. Of course, I've gotten down to like 5% battery, but still make it home. And of course, if you get all the way to zero, there's still some reserve battery there. It doesn't die immediately like a gas vehicle would if you burn through the reserves. It just slowly slows down and you run out of power. Now that's terrible for the battery, just like for a gas car. It's bad to run it all the way down empty, but it is possible. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video and you want to learn more about Teslas and other electric vehicles, click that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. Check out one of these videos on either side of my head, my big head with all this beard hair. I may have to trim my beard soon. And hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I forget what side it's on, but just hit the subscribe button. If you found value in this, again, share it with your friends and watch one of my other videos. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and thanks again for Yeslac for sponsoring this video. Goodbye.